Toys R Us in Canada has had a shaky kind of thing going on. When the news first break about what was going on with Toys R Us way back in September, it was like, well, what's going to happen in Canada? And then when the news broke with the UK collapsing and that being destroyed, well, what was going to happen in Canada? Because Canada had a very similar market to the UK, where we only had about, well, Canada, we had about 80 Toys R Us's, UK had about 100 Toys R Us's, so we were more closer to than that of the United States, 700 Toys R Us's. Then the 700 Toys R Us's collapsed for the United States, and it just, the question kept coming up, what's going to happen for Toys R Us in Canada? There finally was an official statement by Melody Teed Murch, who's the president of Toys R Us in Canada. And she pretty much said to all our value, this was on their Twitter, they posted it to let everyone know on the Canadian Twitter, to our valued customers, Toys R Us Incorporated announced its difficult decision to seek court approval of its Chapter 11 bankruptcy, preceding the wind down of its business operation in the United States. Our team members, referring to the Canadian ones in Canada, are very saddened to hear this outcome, and we're all keeping our United States colleagues in our thoughts during this difficult time. Now they continue on to, in Canada, all 82 of our stores, I guess my information from 2015, there must have been some closures since then. All 82 of our stores remain open for business and will serve you, our customers, honoring all policies, warranties, baby registries, gift cards, our club loyalty programs without change. We are taking necessary steps to ensure the iconic Toys R Us and Babies R Us brands live on for many generations to come in Canada. Very bold statement there, might I say. To not just say that we're going to be honoring it, you know, hoping in the short term, would say like gift cards and stuff like that, but to say that we hope that this brand lives on for many generations to come in Canada.
I feel like they're definitely looking at the social media out there of all our U.S. counterparts, and like looking at them like, oh, I'm taking my family out to Toys R Us for the last time. Oh, I'm taking pictures with them in the Toys R Us. Oh, they won't be able to see this when they're older. That kind of stuff. And it's I think they're definitely like kind of reading and like seeing that and like, okay, well, we have to.
And this post happens in light of that. Like after that Sunday passed, we'll call it the Dark Sunday, when everything started closing. They probably saw that. And so anyways, to continue here, our team continues to work hard in strengthening our competitive position and making improvements necessary to ensure that we have the products when, where, and how you choose to shop with us. Which is another good statement, because it goes into what I was saying, how maybe they're going to improve their online. That's something that recently I started noticing in Walmarts in Canada here. They're starting to do a new online system where you could shop online and it's sent to your local Walmart. And
nice.
And then I noticed it as of this past weekend. And then you go to the service department in Walmart, and then they have this like giant box at the front. Right. And you just give your name and information, and you just pick it up and pay for it there. So it's
nice.
It's very interesting. Like if Walmart's starting to do this, I'm pretty sure this is something they're probably catching on to now. So then it goes on to say our Canadian operations are continuing as normal, of course, and we continue to partner with the trends of products and the brands you trust. Same story as always. For the past 34 years, we have proudly served Canadians. And as the trend authority in toys and babies, and remain the champion of play and trusted advisor, helping people become parents. I guess that's referring more to the Babies
R Us section.
Thank you for choosing yes to shop and support Toys R Us and Babies R Us. We're proud to continue and welcome you to Canada, coast to coast and online. Then pretty much sells over the online websites for both things. And then thank you from Melody Teed Murch, president of Toys R Us. So this is really good news, because it shows that, and I was hearing from different sources that I don't want to like reveal, but it's Toys R Us employees that I know of that live here in Montreal, telling us that according to them, the Canadian Toys R Us, and this is their words, so don't attack me, but according to them, the Toys R Us in Canada was actually making a lot of money and picking up the load of losses that was going on in the United States. And the person was saying that essentially the way that it is because Toys R Us has less locations in Canada, but also, like we've mentioned in previous videos, also has less of a competition than it does, say, in the United States with all the other stores. It does fairly better here. So, and there's a lot more, it's a lot more in the green here, and supposedly a lot of the money and everything was getting sent down south to make up for the losses. And this is, again, that's something that I'm getting from an insider, from an individual who works there. So it's gotten to the point where it's like, you know what, this makes it more realistic now that, yeah, maybe Toys R Us will still be perfectly fine in Canada. And if they do choose to really step up their online game, like I'm seeing now with Walmart in Canada, that could really help them out too. And then the final thing is, it's also good news for Americans in the sense that I've gotten used to my whole life looking forward to going to the States to check out Target, to check out KB Toys. Now, for the first time ever, Americans could look forward to coming to Canada and checking out Toys R Us. It might be dead in their country, but it'll still live on in the exact same spirit in Canada.
Your neighbors to the north. We're not that far.
Yeah, we're not that far. And again, it's cool because it's for the first time ever. Like, I've never heard of an American in all the like early TF cons. I've never heard of an American like coming down to our neck of the woods during TF con going like, "Man, we got to hit up a Zellers." I've never heard that ever. Because I've always felt that Zellers was a messier Target. Like that was always the best way to put it. So, and they were in the same company too. They were all HBC, and I think they were in the same umbrella company or something at one point. But with Hudson Bay, I think it was. Or something. Right. But the point is that I've never imagined that Americans would give a crap about any of our exclusive chains that we have. Unless it's food related, they want to get a poutine, that's for sure. But when it comes to toys, no. Now they'll be able to go to TFCon, and actually very close to TFCon is a Toys R Us if you have a car. So it's something that you could just hop into a vehicle during the evening and go, hey, let's make the pilgrimage to the sacred Toys R Us. Much like I remember, I think it was in 2010, I went to Plattsburgh, and I went to the already closed KB Toys there, and it still had the sign up, and it was already a year after it closed. And I remember just like standing in front of it and just paying my respects.
Did you get on one knee?
I wanted to. I probably should have taken a photo and just like said a little prayer. But yeah, so and again, I always still to this day, when I go to the United States, got to hit me up at Target. Got to check out how different the Walmarts are over there because they're so much bigger and crazier, and the unique stuff they have at those Walmarts. So now finally,
gotta diversify.
Now finally, Americans will have a reason to be excited about Canadian retail for once. And hey, your dollar's way better than ours. So
exactly.
So you'll be able to cash in on that sweet, sweet product.
I walked away with so much deluxes. It's crazy. They're just giving them away here.
Definitely. But yeah, that's a piece of that. And right now there's rumors, and again, I don't want to say that this is 100%, but there's been two rumors right now of companies that also want to either buy out or help fund the continuation of Toys R Us Canada, which is one of them being MGA Entertainment. MGA Entertainment, for people who don't know who that is, that's the company that's behind Little Tykes and Bratz. And they have recently they came off of a lawsuit, and they have a ton of extra money. Let's put it this way: they had a huge lawsuit with Mattel that they won, and they ended up with a huge wad of cash. And I guess maybe they're kind of looking at Toys R Us and going, hey, if we kind of get this entity that's doing very well in Canada, this could be a good place for our product, and dedicated sections to it. In a very Mattel owned. I mean, you look at Toys R Us, you look at the Barbie section. Geez, it feels like it's 5 aisles. Maybe Barbie has a huge place in Toys R Us. So maybe that's something they're considering, and their Little Tykes brand for the Babies R Us stuff, perhaps. And then the other one I was reading, and this is an interesting one, the Toronto Star. was showing signs of interest. That one I don't believe that much, but it's such a weird apples and oranges kind of purchase.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess maybe they have the money to do it. I don't know. But those are just two rumors I read online. I was hearing, like all kinds of other things too, but they were so outlandish I couldn't even imagine. But those two, again, the MGA one kind of makes sense. I remember, the early rumors when the bankruptcy first happened with Toys R Us as a whole, when the rumors of, oh, maybe Walmart's going to, not Walmart, Hasbro's going to step in and try to save them, or Mattel. But MGA, who knows? They got a lot of money from Mattel, from that whole thing that was going on with the dolls with Barbie and the Bratz. So
Yeah.
who knows? Maybe they really want to make a comeback here, and then end up with a huge Bratz section, and then go up against Barbie and Monster High, and I guess Hasbro's Disney Princess stuff now. Who knows? And their wrestling stuff even, because they're doing wrestling dolls. So who knows what they're going to do with that? But yeah, all we know is right now.
It might be true. I'm looking at a Forbes article here from a little time ago, and it says, "Note: this story has been updated to reflect news that MGA is reportedly. Excuse me. Reportedly. Never mind.
Reportedly, well, that's just it. Right now,
Again, it's reportedly.
it's all stuff to be taken with a grain of salt right now. It's something that I could believe happening, but at the same time, I think that from what I was hearing from the inside, it's Toys R Us is very healthy in Canada, and it doesn't surprise me again because of the competition that we have here. It's very small, so they have a good a good stake here. That at least what all we could say is, come this weekend, I'm going to still be able to get into my car and go to a Toys R Us, and it's
Yeah.
going to be business as usual. And I know for a fact that I've been going. I usually go to Toys R Us once a week, and it's on a Saturday or a Sunday, and there's always some kind of event going on. I'm still getting the flyers in the mail, and the flyers in the mail act like it's just another week. It could have been 2007, 1997, and it doesn't seem like it's the end of the world as we know it.
Right.
It just seems like it's just another day. Oh, come on down, bring the kids. We're doing a Lego building event, and a Pokemon trading card is being given away for free at the cache. And be sure to come by the video game section. The Nintendo Switch is going to be on display to try out. There's always something going on.
Right. Right.
And it seems like business as usual in Canada. So it's good to know that right now Toys R Us is healthy in Canada.